G'day, Shane here. It's the 12th of February 2025, and that means it's the start of week 94 of my piano journey. And we're back into lessons today. So I'm about to have my first official lesson for the year. But before we get to that, it's time to have a bit of a look back and see how things have gone over the past week. And just checking my sheet here, my schedule, I said I've been rather slack. I've had 3 practice sessions for a grand total of 1 hour 45. They were full practice sessions though, so covered the 3 pieces I've currently got on the go, Song of the Pine Tree, Caprice and Unfinished Symphony, and also had the 10 minutes of scales and 3 minutes of sight reading. So managed to get all the things that I wanted to cover in a standard practice session in. Progress has been pretty good actually. I'm pretty happy with where I'm going with Unfinished Symphony, which is the newest piece I've got. And it's coming along pretty well actually. And Song of the Pine Tree, and which I've had for the longest, and Caprice, which I've had for just slightly less long. They're doing pretty well as well. I guess we'll see what Jane thinks about it when she has a look at them, one of them or more of them today, I guess. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the week in review. Time for the lesson. Right, this is my new resources section, and I'm going to briefly go through the resources that I use. The details will be below in the description as well. So first up is this book here. This is Piano Time Classics by Pauline Hall. Pauline Hall is one of Jane's favourite sort of music providers, authors, and I've used a couple of her books in the past, and she also has some jazz ones. But this one is Piano Time Classics. And I am currently playing the piece Caprice from this book. Now, the new piece that Jane's going to give me is called Theme from Unfinished Symphony, and that is also in this book. The next book is this one here, which is an ABRSM book, and it's called Finger Jogging Boogie, and it's for grades 1 to 3. And it has the piece in it called Song of the Pine Tree, which I'm currently working on as well. So that's that book there. Those are all of the pieces that I'm currently learning. I also use this book here for my sight reading. It's another ABRSM book, and it's the grade 2 piano specimen sight reading tests. Now, there's a whole variety of these that go up various levels. But the idea here is that they have basically 4-bar sections like that, and you just basically pick one of these at random. There's 50 something of them in here, and you play it. And for those of you who've never done sight reading before, basically this is a way of essentially building up your reading skills. And in an exam, if you were ever to do one, you'd be given, the instructor would basically pick one of these pieces at random. You'd have about 30 seconds to look at it, and then you'd be expected to play it, and then they'll grade you on that. So there's no sort of practice ahead of time or anything like that. It's into it, play it, get a mark. And it's that quick really. So it teaches you to look for patterns, try to figure out how you're going to play it, and mash the hands together, etc. So an interesting process. The other resource I use is scale charts. So these are essentially just these scales with the notes that are different than normal highlighted. It just makes it a bit easier as I'm learning to play those. These are available from Jane's Accelerator Piano website. And I'll put some details around that below. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So that's the end of the sort of physical resources, as it were. The other key resource that I have is obviously Jane, a teacher. And I can't tell you just how useful having a teacher actually is. I don't know how I'd be going if I was trying to learn on my own, because I wouldn't know what pieces to pick, etc. I wouldn't know what grade I'm at any particular point in time. You have to sort of try and evaluate that. And obviously it's a matter of whether you can afford a teacher or not. But if you can, I'd certainly suggest that you try to find a teacher, either locally or online. Jane teaches online. time zones might be an issue if you are not in New Zealand, but I'll put some details below. She does have quite a waiting list, so if you think you might want to learn from someone like Jane, you probably want to get on her waiting list sooner rather than later. But one of the things that a teacher really does is they look at how you're progressing, and they try to identify gaps in your knowledge and your skill set for where you should be at that particular point on your journey, and then they try to fill it. So for example, the piece that Jane's going to be giving me today, the Unfinished Symphony, is one that's actually going to really work my left hand. So it swaps the melody from being on the right hand into the left hand, so I can start to get some practice doing that, because I haven't done that before. That's something I would never have thought of to do had I been trying to teach myself. So it's those kinds of sort of insights that a good teacher will help you figure your way through and sort of really help you progress. So can't recommend a teacher enough, and the best one ever, although I am a bit biased because I'm married to her, is Jane Trotter. So take a look at her website. You'll see that there's plenty of other people there, that dozens and dozens of people that have left testimonials that also think she's the bee's knees. So you can check that out. Now, the other thing that Jane also has is a YouTube channel and a supporting website called Accelerando Piano. And Accelerando Piano is where she puts up short tutorial type videos. When I say short, they're not 30-second type things. They're 5 to 10 minute type tutorials, and these are primarily aimed to support her students. Although she's made them public, so everyone in the world can have a look at them and use them. And what she does is, if you go onto a waiting list, if you're on a waiting list, she'll be sending a link out to people that says, here are some of the videos you should probably start to look at, that sort of, if you want to learn on your own a little bit while you're waiting on a spot, try these ones here, etc. And there's some key ones there on how to set up your environment so that you don't get yourself injured. And certainly worth taking a look at those. And if you are, if you have a teacher, then you may well be able to find some supplementary resources on Jane's website that supplement what you're already learning from your own teacher. And if you currently don't have a teacher, then you might be able to find some things there that sort of also help you on your way. It's not lessons as such. It's not going to teach you how to play a piece, but it will teach you things like how to play scales, how to sit properly, things that you possibly haven't really sort of thought about. I think the last one she's done, and I'm not sure what's up yet, is how to make sure you're relaxing when you're playing chords. I think it's called "Don't Death Grip Your Chords" or something like that. So there's sort of a variety of things like that. Definitely worth a look. And on the each one of those, well, not each one, but most of those tutorials also have a supplementary resource, and that's where these come in. So the scales tutorials that teach you how to play these scales and tell you the tricks about what fingers to move where, etc. Also have sheets available for download, and they're on her website under the resources page, and you can access those there. And that's what I've done here. I've just printed those out, laminated them so that I can flip them over and they don't sort of get crumpled, etc. So that's the other resources that I use. Can't highly recommend a teacher enough. So there you go. And I'll update this resources section as the books, etc. change.